What's going on, YouTube? Welcome back to another episode of Thoughts and Divine Wisdom. Today I'm going to switch it up a little bit. As we know, we're on our journey, and I want to put myself out there so that people know who I am. So today I'm going to talk about myself. I'm going to talk about who I am. If you're trying to figure out who I am, I'm going to tell you who I am. Okay, so I am a 48-year-old male. I'm openly bisexual. I identify with being attracted to beautiful traditional women, and I'm also attracted to beautiful transgender women. Now, with that being said, because I've seen comments about people spazzing out about me loving the LBT or the LGBTQ plus community. So I want to put that out there to let people know where I stand at on that and everything. I'm open, I'm openly bisexual. I've told all my family, told all the family that matters, told all them, mother, fathers, brothers, cousins, everything else or whatever. So I'm not in the closet with what I stand on. Okay. Now, when it comes to spirituality, as a kid growing up, I was one of the ones who grew up in the Baptist church. All the stories you heard about kids having to be at church all day long for 3, 4, 5 hours, I was one of those kids too. Okay? And in the church, I saw all the dogmas, all the Holy Ghost dances, all the shouting, and everybody and people who ran around the aisle, and I saw all that. I saw everything. Okay. The food was great. The food was, the folks who cooked was definitely good. Saw all that for years. When I was in the church, I never had the connection everybody else had. Everybody else was there doing the Holy Spirit dance and the dogmas and everything. But for me, I could never connect to any of that. The speaking in tongues, the all that, I could never connect with that either. I would be there, I would be sitting back, and I would be there, but in my spirit it was like, nah, this is not me. This is not me at all. Nah, can't do it. Okay. So I grew up in the denomination of being a Baptist, some Mormon, some Jehovah's Witness a little bit, and some non-denomination. I grew up in those categories. Growing up as a child, I seen all these different denominations and everything. So when I went to all these different denominations, even, Methodists and, I've even seen Lutheran too, just to let you know. But when went to these denominations, I could never connect, and something in my spirit would never let me connect with those. It was like I was an alien trying to experience a human experience, but I felt different, and I looked at everything different. So imagine being in one of these places and everybody's doing what everybody else is doing, but you're sitting there like, that's how it was with those denominations. Later on in life, I started learning that denominations are man-made, and denominations are only stepping stones to understand the divine. But once you establish the relationship from within, then the denominations don't matter, because the truth that you're going to be, the truth in the end that you will learn, is going to show you things outside of all of the denominations. And the truth is, when you if you start questioning denomination, what you run into is, you start running into the fact that you start asking yourself the question, what's more important, staying in the denomination or seeking the truth? Those two things collide with each other, and you're going to have to make the determination to yourself, which one is right for me. Should I stay in this denomination, but the divine spirit is showing me truths that's outside of the denomination? And if you go to that denomination, start showing these truths to God, or that the divine spirit is showing you, instead of them changing, they're going to be like, oh, you know what? I think it's best for you to go ahead and move on to something else. This is what they will do. They will not accept the truth, because what the denomination truth is what the denomination is set on. When truthfully, every person should have that relationship. Every person should be seeking truth from within. But this is why religion is not real. People, instead of seeking the truth, they end up seeking the religion. And they will kick you out of the quote-unquote Kingdom Hall or whatever, because you don't follow the way that they follow. And you could be like, oh, but it was the divine spirit to show me this. Look, we can. They don't care, because this way over here is how they believe. And so they are putting, and see, this is why religion is so foolish. They put their man-made belief system against the divine truth. And no matter how much you talk to them, they are going to shun you and tell you, you know what, it's better for you to go ahead and move on and go somewhere else. I think it's best for you to do that. And there ain't nothing you can do. So basically, when you build the relationship, with the divine internally in the internal temple, you start truth started being revealed to you and shown to you, and you build a relationship with the divine spirit. And this is how things are. And what you end up doing is, you start, as your frequency and as you as a person start growing, you start disassociating yourself with the denominations or the religion. You start disassociating yourself from all that and start living for the truth yourself. What is the truth? And everything that you've heard me speak about in my videos is truths that was given to me through understanding and wisdom within. Okay? So make a long story short, you find yourself separating, and then you move forward. But see, it's like Abraham when he was shown the premonition. When Abraham was at the beginning of his story, he still stayed in Babylon. He still stayed with his family. He still stayed with his father Abner. He still stayed with his brother and mother and everything. Okay? That's what he did. That's what he did. Before, but after he saw the premonition, right? The premonition said, I have a promised land for you. If you follow me, I will make thy seed abundant. I will make thy, all these different things, right? And so, because it said, because he believed, and this is in the blind faith, because he believed, it was counted for as righteousness. A Babylonian, Abraham was a Babylonian, but because he believed the premonition that he saw, and he believed it, and he grabbed his stuff and followed, because he believed it was counted for as righteousness. That's right. It was counted for as righteousness. And that's, in this spiritual journey of your life, that's what we must do. We must step out on blind faith. Most people believe that they believe, right? And even I fall victim to this sometimes. Blind faith is not knowing the unknown. You just going and doing, right? And I'm just kind of going off into the weeds with this one, but blind faith is just going into the unknown, not knowing what you're doing, but you believe. That is absolute faith. But what most people fall short at is they believe, but they see no farther than what they can see. They believe no farther than what they can see. Okay? But what what the divine spirit want is, like, believe as far as you can see, but I want you to believe past some trees that you can't see through. Right there. Right there. That's what I want. Believe past that, because it's way past there. That's the type of faith that he was wanting. But this is how my spiritual belief system was structured. First, it was through a denomination. Throughout the years, I built a relationship with the divine, and once I established a relationship, the purpose for the denominations was non-existent in my life anymore. I didn't need it and everything. Then the truths of the Bible start coming out and everything. Some of the videos that I've made on my channel talks about those things. But when you go to a Bible thumper Christian or whoever, they're apologists. They will try to skim. When you go to them, they will have an apology already set. They already have an apology already set. to give you, because they're apologists. And but you have to look, when you're talking to them, you have to listen to them deeper. You have to listen to them deeper. Because you ask the question, in this statement, are they really answering? That's what you got to do. You have to really hold their feet to the fire, because they will slap you with the sword of niceness. They will be kind, nice, sweet, gentle, talk, affectionately, but through it all, they never answer the question. They'll go to another direction if you let them. Okay? So, but this spiritual journey led me to this place here, where this place here in my life in general, I have done the work. I have put down the identity. I don't live by my identity anymore. I live by being today. Yeah, people still try to test your emotions and stuff like that, but through this walk, it doesn't really faze me like that anymore. It really doesn't. I see people, see see people, I hear things or whatever. People say, because as a driver, you go places, so you see people, some people are mean or whatever. I'm like, oh, okay, you know what? Don't even worry about it. I'll take care of it. Before, I would have got tight in the chest. What? Like that. So none of those things faze me anymore. They don't faze me. Because I know the value of the self now. I know the value of myself. So what used to have, and my frequency's higher, and like I've told you guys, when your frequency becomes higher, your concerns with certain things don't even matter anymore. What you cared about at lower frequencies, you're not caring about at higher frequencies. And that's one of them. That's one of the things right there. So, for me, I guess you can call it being ascended. I ascended past a lot of the worldly obstacles. It doesn't faze me. It doesn't faze me. Some things still do faze me, but it's because of care. Like, my kids. I have girls. I care about what's going on with them. I care about my son. So, those things matter. Care about my mom. Even though she, her emotions go with the weather, I still care about her and what she says and stuff. But even with her, even with her, I use her opinion as a grain of salt. Okay, it's just advice. Because at the end of the day, see, when I was a kid, I really leaned on you because I needed your guidance as a parent. But now that I'm an adult, I have structure in my life. Okay, so when you give your opinion, okay, it's just that. It's an opinion. But I'm going to make my choice for myself. Thank you for the recommendation, but at the end of the day, I got to make the choice. So, so there's things to still care about. But on this side, there's peace, there's freedom. To be free spiritually, no more baggage inside. All the things that you held in throughout the course of your life, I unpacked everything. Took me years took me years to get to it, but you know what? I finally did it, and now I'm free. I'm free of mind. I'm free of heart. I've broken the shackles of society structure. I've broken the shackles of religion. I am truly free. I am truly free. That's right. And now, within my life, there's one more thing I got to do. And that is, come next month, I'll be filing, because see, there's other things that y'all don't know about me. I'm married. Been married for close to 6 years, but you know what? The person I'm with is just not the right one. It's not working. And yes, I told her I was bisexual too. Okay. But it's not working. Next month, it'll be the end of the year. It'll be the year of the end of the separation year. I can go ahead and file for divorce, and I can go ahead and move on with my life, focus on myself, focus on my kids, do the things that I need to do for both of us, or for us as us as my kids, and moving forward with this, moving forward with this journey. So I'm doing that. I think that I think I will be at peace once the divorce is finalized. And look, even though things don't work out, even though it didn't work out on the best interest of me and my soon-to-be ex, I wish her nothing but the best of luck, man. I wish her nothing but the best of luck. And I've already told her, look, I want to build a cordial relationship with you on the behalf of the kids. That's it. I don't want nothing else from you, man. She could not believe that. Like, really? I'm like, yeah, I don't want nothing from you. Because like the saying goes, when a man is fed up, he's fed up. When a man chooses his peace over a relationship, that means that relationship is over. He took everything. That's what I did. I wanted my peace. My peace of mind was more important than trying to be in this relationship. No, sorry. And it's not like, I tried to, I stayed there too long. When you are dealing with somebody who doesn't respect you, truthfully, who doesn't listen to your leadership and your wisdom, or nothing, everything's defiance. I said, nah, I can't. I tried to make it work, but it's just not, it's just not something that I want to, I wanted to do any further. So I wish her the best of luck, but yeah, come next month it's over and everything. But anyways, man, I'm just kind of giving y'all tidbits of my life to let y'all know who I am, how did I get here to where I talk the way that I talk, where did this mindset come from, how did I get on the journey, how did I get to the point where I'm like, okay, let me try to help other people, get to this journey. This journey of mine is mine, but the reality is there's other people on the journey. I've been in isolation for 48 years. I have not had any friends. I've had associates, but I've never had any friends. Nobody came to see me. I think I had 2 guys come to be my friend, throughout my whole entire life. Rick and Joey, yes, y'all is it. Everybody else, nobody came to my place wanting to hang out with me. Nobody wanted to be a friend on, on that level. Nobody wanted to, everybody's associates. You only see them when you see them, and they laugh and jovial and talk or whatever. But when it's time to go home or it's the weekend, you never see them. And then later you find out that a lot of them were backstabbers. A lot of them talk bad about you once you leave. You never said anything to them, but that's just how they are. Some people only look at you being around as entertainment. So it's a smorgasbord of different things with them. So in this journey, I was basically isolated. I didn't really have any friends. Didn't. Elementary, it was I had associates. I had kids who came to the I had kids who I associated with when they were still in their innocence, wanting to play football, want to come over and play basketball, play video games, stuff like that, do the stuff that kids like to do, go ride bikes around the community, stuff like that, but after, elementary, the characters of people started to show. Meaning, they disassociated with me. Then here comes the bullying. There was bullying in elementary, but the bullying started coming, the picking on and all that stuff started. And no matter what you did, what you said, or what you tried to do to fix everything, it didn't matter. They kept going with it, and it was harsh and brutal. And that's, you had to just suck it up and just keep moving, like the Wounded Warrior that I've been telling you about. But that's what you had to do back then. The 80s and 90s was crucial. Yeah, it was. The 80s and 90s was crucial. Girls just straight out tell you, ugh, and walk off and all. Yeah, it was bad back then, boy. I mean, it was, it was more in your face, more brutal by the structure. But that's how it was. So anyways, man, I go on this journey. I really have been isolated for most of my life. And back then, when I was younger, when I was trying to find friends, I could never find friends. So I ended up having to learn this life lesson basically on my own in isolation. I didn't have, there was nobody to lean on. There was nobody to go to. There was nobody to talk to. Couldn't talk to my brothers because they still on the surface doing what they doing. They had friends coming over for them. Me, I didn't have that. And then as my spiritual growth happened and I was growing and I started separating from the denomination spiritually and physically, I was really by myself. I didn't have anybody. There was no hotline to call to say, hey man, I'm going through this and I'm trying to figure out what's going on here, that it's this. There was no hotline. It's all by yourself. And so this is the isolation. This is the walk. This is the walk. I started my walk all the way into the late 90s until the 2003, 2004, like I started my walk, and then it really started clicking like 2003, 2004, what was going on. But the walk and this is why they call us the wounded warriors. I've took scars and beatings and abuse and being picked on and bullied and all this. And every time I get hit, I just got up and just kept moving down the path. And that's what you had to, and that's what I had to do in order to keep my self intact. I had to do that. And another thing that I did to help keep my sanity at that time, and I tried to explain this to my family, but they don't listen. One of the things I did to help keep my sanity back then was, it's like, I think it's Philippians chapter 7 verse 9 or something like that. I'm not sure, but it's whatever is good, whatever is pleasant, whatever is loving, paraphrasing, whatever is loving, whatever, good rapport, dwell on these things. So as a kid, and even before I even saw that verse, I was doing that. I was taking good memories and good vibe, good music, the movies, I was taking all those things, and even though hell was going on around me, I would take those sprinkles of good moments throughout the time that I was growing up, and I would keep focusing on I would focus on those things. And so when I look back at the 80s, I remember those moments. When I look at the 90s, I remember these moments and memories and vibes and music. Even though there was hell going on around me throughout the whole thing, divorces, staying in shelters, and all kind of crap, moving over and over, domestic abuse, and all this stuff going on, child molestation, all these things was happening and stuff like that. Child molestation, that stuff happened to me when I was a kid. I ain't gonna go into that, but it happened 3 different times. Between 4 and 12, that happened. So hell was going on around me at all times, bro. So in order to pick, as well as the picking on, bullying started in the 2nd grade. Bullying for me, that happened to me, started in the 2nd grade. And they didn't care. Kids back in the 80s did not care if you was a little kid. If you had something that they wanted, if you did something goofy, or if you had something funny or whatever, they didn't care how young you were. They would pick on you. They didn't care about punching you dead in the chest. They did not care back then. They sure didn't. They sure didn't care. They sure didn't care. But, you know what I'm saying, me being bullied started in the 2nd grade. The only way it stopped is my brother, my oldest brother, he started looking at me when I was getting on the bus, and he was like, "What's wrong with you?" And I was like, Nothing. Then he started doing his own, investigation, and he saw what was happening. He said, "Oh hell, nah, not my little brother." And he did that real quick. So much so, the person who he checked and did what he did. I'm gonna go get. They said, "I'm gonna go get my brother." My brother said, "Go tell your brother." They brother said, "Nah." nah, he's cool. No. Stop messing with him. He wasn't gonna do nothing to my brother. No, my brother was that. Yeah, it was that kid. Yeah. So, but the divine spirit took me through that. But it was other times too. The aspects of growing up, being picked on, molestation, picked on, bullied, told that you're slow, you're lazy, girls telling you ugly, girl, all that. No friends. Just a life of trying to pick the pieces that work and putting, trying to pick up the pieces that work, as well as trying to make sense of everything. Being poor. Didn't realize we were poor until we got to middle school, man. But we was poor. We was poor. We couldn't get the latest shoes and all that. Always gotta have the bargain bin shoes. Only thing we could hope for is, hey, let's try to get some bargain bin Nikes or whatever. So it was real. It was real. Life was pretty rough. Like, even though I love the 80s and 90s, just by the vibe and the memories of the good memories that happened, it was beautiful. The music, the movies, everything, cartoons, all that stuff was beautiful. But it was a harsh time, I'll tell you that. Now that I'm older and I'm looking back at everything, yeah, it was kind of harsh. It was very harsh, and you just had to go through the storm and deal with it and roll with the punches. That's what you had to do. You had to deal with it and roll with the punches, man. So overall, I've been on this journey by myself. I can't, and it's like the saying goes, you come here by yourself and you die by yourself. Then guess what? When you're on your divine journey, your journey of within, then you got to do it by yourself. And I've been doing it so much so that I'm kind of like a hermit. And I'm to the point now where it's like I'm okay with. I mean, if this truck was my house, I would be fine. I'd be okay. Because I've never had any friends. I never really had any friends. Oh, and side note, the family that I grew up with were good people, but the problem with them was when we were growing up, they were great to be around, but the problem is they never truly came to see us. We always had to go see them. And they had cars and stuff like that. They could work. It's not like, okay, we're poor and we can't. No, they just never came to see us. And now that we're older, it's like, okay, why should I go see y'all? I came to that realization a long time ago. Why should I come see y'all? Y'all never come see me. I ain't never seen none of y'all come up to down here to North Carolina to come see me, wanting to come see us. Yeah. And if you don't say nothing, they'll have you doing that your whole life, going where they at to go to come see them all the time. Nah, we ain't doing that. That's one thing. That's another thing. But my life is filled up with these. What's the names? I consider myself a hermit. I'm okay with not having any friends. I've been doing it for 48 years of my life, basically. First 20 years of my life, I was forced into it. I had no choice. Even though I was trying to find friends, like, okay, trying to be cool, trying to fit in, it still didn't work or whatever. It still didn't do anything for me or whatever. The next 28 years, I'm like, yo, my life is this. That's it. So, anyways, man, I've been on here for a long period of time, and I know I've been everywhere with this, but hopefully this gives you an idea of who you're dealing with here on this channel. Why I stand the way that I stand. Some of my background, what I've been through. Okay? And hopefully it gives you a clarity in yourself, and hopefully you can relate to some of the stuff I was saying. But most importantly, it gives you clarity for yourself, as well as you're not by yourself. Because this journey will feel like a isolation until the end. If, you know what I'm saying, especially if you walk the journey I walked. If you walk the journey I walked, you would feel like this whole thing is all an isolation test. You see everybody around you, but it don't matter. They don't mean nothing in this equation. But you are not by yourself. You have people who care. You have people who are walking the same journey. You have people who love you. And if anything, if you don't believe that you have anybody, just know that I love you as a brother or a sister, man. You're not by yourself. And I give my email every time I do a video, so the chosen can use this channel as a beacon for each other, as well as if they need help or advice, I can talk to them. That's what this channel is also all about. So anyways, I am here for all of you. If you are walking the journey and you are truly in it, and you feel like you by yourself, and you know what I'm saying, you trying to figure it all out, just know that I'm here. I'm here to fulfill the journey as well. I'm on this journey too. And if you want to talk to somebody, if you have obstacles that you're trying to figure out, if you're trying to, if you're trying to figure out yourself, if you're trying to anything, hit me up at thoughtsanddivinewisdom@gmail.com. Hit me up with that. And no, I ain't doing you like no blue check mark. I don't live like that. I don't live like a blue or white check mark. On the videos, white check marks talk like they relate to you so well. Then when you reach out to them to try to talk to them, silence. They treat you like you are Scourge. That's how they treat you. I'm like, but I just listened to the video. I'm trying to get relative. And then when they do respond, it's only to a small selected few people. Well, here on Thoughts and Divine Wisdom channel, who you are matters. Now, if you are just trolling, yeah, okay, I'll skim past that one. Like, okay, it don't even matter, because like I said, we already ascended. I've already ascended past all that. They just get, they message just get basically ignored. We see ignorance when we see it. But if you one of the chosen and you on the path and you trying to figure out stuff and you trying to find answers, by all means, hit me up. I read them. I will read them. And I will respond. This ain't, cherry pick. We don't cherry pick over here. Okay? So with that note, hit me up, guys. Another interesting video. This one's a little different. This is just about myself and who I am and all that good stuff. Just to give you guys an understanding of who I am. Okay. All right. So stay blessed. Okay, and I look forward to hearing and speaking to you guys. And I look forward to doing another video. All right, you guys take care.